Hey folks, it's time again for me to continue my plan, good or not, to do recordings of myself doing each and every daily target from CSS Battle. That's CSSBattle.dev. If you've got the Plus membership, give them several US dollars a month, or I'm not sure what the currencies would be if you're overseas, but I know that there's a lot of overseas players. It's some amount of money. These are from November 2023. This is the 4th, that's the 5th, and this is the 6th. Let's get started. All right. This guy feels pretty straightforward. One thing I'm curious about that I don't think I've ever tried is if you create a square, if you rotate the body, do you get something sensible? I would think that no, but maybe I'm wrong. How about... Okay, so we rotated the body and that did what we wanted it to do. So if we put everything on the background, let's see what happens. Let's do this. Let's do a background. I've never tried this. I don't know whether it's going to work. Let's do a conic gradient that is going to be transparent, and it's going to be a square background. So at 100 pixels, 100 pixels. Transparent 75%. So, and then this color. So that gets you a square, and then I guess it's probably a little bigger, 120. And then if I rotate, do I get something sensible? I think the answer is no, even though we can rotate. Yeah, so we don't get anything. That's fine. But if we put it on the P paragraph element, right? Width 100, height 100. There it is. All right. So it's not in a good position, but it is there. All right, so the question is, what's the right way to do this design? What's the most expedient way to do this? I feel inclined today, since we need to make an element anyway, let's set the height to be a number. And then we're going to do that. This is going to be our background. And then it's going to be, 50%, 50% or something, maybe minus 50%. And let's put our rotate instead on this. And we're going to do display, flex, align, justify content center, align, items, center, just to see if we can create the right shape. So we've created our height, aspect ratio of 1, and there we are. Okay, so if I've got the inner is going to be, the secondary color would be this. Okay, and then let's make that height bigger. So our background, is our background applying yet? Don't know. Background. Okay. And then, interesting. Okay, so here's our problem. We needed the external color to be this. So this is, and that's flopped from what we want. We want this to be our color. And we're going to do, what, 50 pixels, 50 pixels. And then if we add so this is all kind of a terrible way to do this, but, we're having fun. There it is. So that's, roughly the thing. And then by modifying these numbers to 40-40, is that it? No, not really. So this is a little smaller, 110, 110. Okay, so then that makes that what, 35? 35. Okay, so that's not quite right. 45. 40, 40 and 40. Let's try that. So it's too big again. Is it just 100 by 100 and I don't know what I'm doing? That's possible. Certainly possible. All right, so we're so close. What are the numbers we need to change? 50, 50? Is that it? Is that your card? Let's take a look. Okay, so that's 100% match. Now, we've got optimizations. I don't like to do this display flex. That's a bummer. We'll need to put margins on this guy. If it's 200, then we know those margins are what? They're 50 at the top and 100 on the sides, and that will do it. And that's shorter. It's certainly close, but it's not quite right, is it? And we also need to set a height and width, I think. 95, 94, 93, 92. All right, is that it? Let's see. Resubmitting. Waiting for the result from CSS Battle to see, hey, did we match that? So we rotated it. We've got a content grading to make this square with a background color. And then do we need this at all? We do not. We don't need the extra, but we do need the background position because that's what puts it where we want it to be. Okay, so a little bit of cleanup, unit replacement, and minification, and resubmit, and that's that one. That's a fun one. That's a fun one. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Lots of ways to do this one. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of ways. So there you go. All right, next. November the 5th. These look like parts of a circle, but they are really not, are they? So what do we need to do to cut out this shape? I think because we need that border, right? That's the thing that we need. And then it looks like this is exactly that same thing, right? So if we could make that shape perfectly, that would be awesome. But I feel like that's gonna be a tall order. So how do we make this? Let's put our background on the body. And let's put our proper color on the element. Let's move our margins to the element. And then how tall is it? Is it 200 tall? It's 200 tall. Great. 7, 8, 9, 91, 92. There it is. Okay. Can we create a border radius that is exactly that? 50, 60, 70, 75, 65, 65. And then the question is, do we need to do that as a border? What's that width of that, of these borders? I rarely do this, but how about border 30 pixels solid? That, and then let's make that transparent. Then we got to adjust our height, obviously, by we need to remove 30 from the top and bottom. 60, 200 minus 60 is 140, right? There we go. All right, what do we need next? So what do we need next? So we need that shape, and we need it cut out. We need to figure out what we need to do to cut that out. To me, there's several different ways to do this. I believe the prior solutions that I've done with this were to duplicate and then use a clip path. So the other thing is that we've got squares that we don't need. So we actually don't fully have the original shape, because this is here, and then that border is, it's kind of sensitively there, and that kind of stinks, right? Like, maybe this is not great. So would we do better if we created just one of these and not the whole shape? Maybe. So let's see what that looks like. That would mean that our border radius would be 65,000, and then our height and width would be different. So what's that look like? So let's see border radius, so our width, and then let's have our border be, so do our border border radius, and then how about we set a border width of 30 pixels, 0, 0, 30 pixels, and put that after that. So is that the actual shape that we want? Maybe. Let's figure out what we need here. If we just do that component, then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And we can do that with margins, right? Maybe this is a goofy way to do it, but it's hard to argue that it's probably possible. So the width is too wide, 8. 80? Are they 80? Is it 80 by 80? That's close. Closer. 50. 55? 55. I think they're 55. So that's an element. That's a single one of them. So if we make more and we display flex, so when we do our trick of what? Transform scale, or we do scale. Still getting over that cold. Scale of a var of dash dash x or 1, and a var dash dash y or 1. Then for x, things with the x attribute, we do dash dash x is -1, and then things with the y attribute, we do dash dash y is -1. Okay, so then let's put display flex. I know it's a lot of moving parts. Is there a simple solution? There might be. Am I making mistakes? Maybe. Do I need these margins? Let's put the margins on the body instead. So let's do margin 0. We're just going to zero out these margins, and then put the margins on the body in a way that makes sense. So 50, 50, 60, 50, 60. I keep doing that. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, so that's the first one. Let's display flex, flex wrap of wrap, and then a gap of, I feel like that's the same as the border width, so because those are squares in this thing here, so that gap is 30 pixels. Okay, so let's make another one, another few. 2, 3, 4, and then this one gets the x attribute. This one gets the y attribute, and this gets both the x and y attribute. So that's parts of it. Now, it would be cool if we could box shadow and just do a box shadow of the transparent parts, and there are techniques to do that, but we're not going to do that because, well, no, we can't. All right, so if we have done that, So B, P, so let's make 2 more. There they are, and we need to move them. So the first one, so we're gonna do what? So let's do movement as a part of the other thing that we're gonna do, which is what? Translate. If we do a translate on the paragraph tag and do 10 pixels, does everything move? Yeah. So yes, we can do that. So var dash dash, we'll call them what? A or 0, and var dash dash B or 0. So now we need names for these guys, and we'll call them M and N. So now, if we set variables for M and N to move them up, then they will do that. So M, we need to set values for dash dash A, which is going to be a measure to move, and then dash dash B, and that's also going to be the same thing. So M and N need numbers. So if we plug in numbers, in theory, we'll be able to move them into place. Let's find out if we can do that. So I'm putting in just the nothings there. So let's do, I mean, the it's A and B, so X and Y. So the Y we know is negative for both. Minus 100 pixels. Oh, is it working? No, it's not. Dash dash A or R. So translate M, O, and then an N. All right, so they just moved, and we needed, so M and N, so they're moving a little. And there's something not great about, okay, so minus, there we go. So now we're moving one of them around. We also need to what? Put an X and Y attribute on them too. So right now I would like to see both of them do something, but right now it's just what M is doing something. Let's do 60 and 50, and we don't see 2 of them. Why don't we see 2 of them? Don't currently know, but we'll sort it out. Okay, so there is M. If I do background pink, just to help distinguish which one am I dealing with here, and then this one is background blue. Yeah, we're not seeing N. Okay, so where is, oh, we just need to go much further. 180, 200, minus 2, there we go. There we go. Okay, now we see both of them. So I feel a little better about that. All right, so we were gonna do M is this one in the upper right-hand corner. So let's do M, and M needs to be rotated, right? So it's got to be rotated on the y-axis. So M needs the y attribute. Oh, that's not the one I thought I was doing. Oh, yeah, that's right. M, yeah, that is. Pink, Y. And then let's adjust those numbers to move that into place. So on the x-axis, we're currently minus 60. Let's do plus 60. So, okay. And then 70, 80, 85. Let's get rid of the background. Then we need to go up. So the y-axis is currently minus 100, so we need to make that more negative. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 200. Boom. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, so then this last one, N, he is what? He needs to be flopped on the x-axis. So he needs an X attribute, and then that flops him on the X attribute, and we'll get rid of that background, which is, and then all we need to do, is be, so our X needs to be over less. So right now it's X going that way. So we need to go that way. So that negative number gets higher, which is to say like that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And is it an even number? 100, 80, 80, minus 80. Okay, and then this one is too far negative on the y-axis, so 150. Close. We'll adjust both those by 5. Okay, and then 45. There it is. Those are all the pieces and parts. So that's one element for each one of these curves. Is that excessive? You be the judge. There's other ways to do this, obviously, very plainly, but this is enjoyable. I like this scheme, and I've done a premature unit replacement. I'm submitting to see whether we've got 100% match. I think we do. Well, we do. Okay, so, and then let's minify and submit, and that is, what, Bob's your uncle, they say? Okay, so we got things we can trim. In our border definition, we can remove the width because we don't need it. The border declaration can take any number of things. It has some defaults. It defaults to 2 pixels, the current color black normally, and solid. If you add solid, you'll get a border, but adding a color changes the whole thing. So that's a fun one. I like that solution, and doing them as I'm doing them in these videos, where I'm just trying to, like, how little can I write and how quickly can I write it because I'm recording it, concentrates the mind in a way that's really nice. I was pretty sure I needed a container to get these in. Yeah. So, but I didn't. I mean, I do have a container. It's the body, but so it's 6 elements. That's what it is. All right. Lastly, oh yeah, I remember this guy too. Okay. What's the way to do this? So this to me feels like the same background 5 times. Right, like that's what it seems like to me. So if that's the case, let's make a radial gradient that's at 50%, 50%, and then has a size and no repeat. And let's see if we can get it in place. So we're transparent. No, actually we're not transparent, are we? We're gonna do dark blue. Okay, there's the start. And we need to be a little bigger. 110, 120, okay. 120, 120. 40%, 0. And I guess we need the dark blue again. And then we're going to place that 5 times using background position. So we could do that in a number of ways. So I feel like so if we repeat and have that size, we get a different result. But I think we need the no repeat. The question is, what's the most efficient way to do it? If we do background, okay. So let's get the size right first. Let's see if we can do it with just the percentages for 50, 58, 57, D8, D9. Okay. All right. So that's our base. G is that variable. So we're going to say var dash dash G. Have the correct parens. And then underneath it, we want var. So already we've got our first problem. Circle. Actually, that means we need to put a size on each one. So let's see, 40% minus 25%, 50%, 120, 120. So that's where we put it. Whoops. So where do we need to put it? 25%, 20%. Can we do it with just percentages? What, 15, 10, 5, 26, 27, 28, 29, 0.1, 8.1 for 2, for 3, 27.5%, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, those percentages are not working. Minus 100 pixels, 100 pixels, 10, 20. Nope, that's less. So 60, 70, 75, 80. Okay. Well, as we do another one of these, and it's probably negative of that same number to get the other one, like that. Minus 80. No, that's not it. 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 200. There's the other one. And then we do another one. This time, it's what? The y-axis needs to go up and down, so we're going to do 50%. Is it 80 pixels? Probably not. 2, 3. Sure. And then lastly, another one. We got a lot of repetition in this, but also it's all gradient. So is this good? I don't know. 6, 7. And then in the distant background, like so. It's not terrible. Let's submit. We got a match. I'm not going to defend this code particularly much. I think we don't need this, though. We don't need the extra 50% because one number will suffice. We do need sizes and all the rest. If we do, see if we remove. Okay, so we submitted that. I'm gonna minify and even replace. And that's pretty terse code. Right, short, nice and short. Getting the job done. It's not collapsing on us or on us. It's certainly enjoyable code to look at for me. It's got a nice rhythm, but it does repeat, but no repeat several times. And that's a better score than I've gotten in the past. So let's go backward again. What if we did it in the verbose style? Which would be what? Background image. Is var dash dash g, and it's 5 times, right? 3, 4, 5. That's it. Background repeat. So then if we do a shorthand declaration of var g 50%, 50%, 120, 120, no repeat, do we get what we want? No, we do not. We are obliged to have, once we've decided to set background image in that way, we have to do the other things. I guess we could do this and have it work. So there's your that. So let's do background size. And then let's do background position. So interestingly, so then, okay, so what can we remove? Can we remove things? If we remove one, do we get collapse? Yes, we do. So then we need position, so background position. Auto, 80 pixels, 200 pixels, 50%, 30 pixels, comma, 50%, 150 pixels. Background repeat. No repeat. Will that work? Let's find out. Nope. Okay, so background, something wrong with one of these things. So I think it's going to be this one, 50%, 50%. Let's remove that. If we do background, that color to start with. Okay. So there, we set a default there. And that's our guy. So let's minify, unit replace, it's 30 view width, 30 view width, minify, and resubmit. Another approach. So basically variabilizing it, how short can we make the code? And that's a better score. So yeah, I've in the past when I've done multiple backgrounds, so this is all on the body. That's all on the body. And that should scale pretty nicely, right? So that'll continue to be in the center. Will it? No, I think if you resize this, that you're going to get some odd things because those are pixel values there. And so if you're not assured that's going to be in the center of every body that you would put that set of styles on. But it's still a good one. All right, that's a fun set. Once again, those were from November 4th. 5th and 6th of 2023. Fun ones today. I got to approach them in new ways. Particularly this one, I was happy to break it down into parts, to a single part, and then just replicate that part several times in a way that's better than what I did in the past. I believe I had a div and made that complex shape using borders and a clip path, very complicated, and then replicated it with different clip paths for the inner curves. And that's clever, but not as good. Have a great day. Make something cool with CSS today, and take care of yourselves. Okay.